Yeah, Burnett High School. It was a miracle I made it out of here. I remember scrambling to find bathroom passes so I could get extra credit so that my English teacher would pass me my senior year, because I wasn't gonna graduate. I just didn't, I don't know, I mean, I just didn't care. I always focused on playing music and just being a better musician and worrying about my band than I ever was about math or chemistry or anything like that.
There was a moment when Mitchell was a child that Alan Jackson was his greatest hero, and he'd wear a cowboy hat and boots and play with his electric guitar to Alan Jackson's music. And I knew that's what he wanted to be.
It's something he's been interested in his whole life. I mean, since he was a very, very young child. And the first memory I have that really solidified it is when he was 8 years old, we went on vacation to Disney World. And there's an attraction down there where you can go in and basically sing a song. And somehow the technology allows it to automatically put music to it, to the words. And he did a song, remember this is an 8-year-old kid, you know. And he did a song called Nobody Understands Me. When I read the words to the song, and then you look at this, you know, little 8-year-old guy, the words were really deep and meaningful and powerful, and I knew right then that he had a gift.
We're about to pull up on the house I grew up in. I haven't lived in this house in probably like 5 years now, 6 years now. Let's see if they'll let me in. Let's see where I used to practice. And that's my basketball hoop. It's still there. So yeah, this used to be my bedroom. I wrote a million songs here. My bed was right here. There's a dresser there, covered in posters and ticket stubs and CDs and records that I loved. And I wrote so much music down here, so many memories. Down here's where, like, this used to be like a sitting area, like a lounge, couches and a TV, and then back here it's covered in posters, covered in records, and covered in music equipment. This is where my bands used to practice. Every day, after school, after work, we used to practice here, spend hours perfecting music, learning new songs, writing new music. It was all right here. There's a studio set up, there was the drums, it was just, I used to have after parties here. This is my teenage years, man. This is where it all happened for me. This is where I grew up. So now we're pulling up on probably my favorite restaurant, food stop in the entire world, at least in the entire country. This is Bedminster Pizza and Subs. This is the spot. This is where all of my bands, all of my friends would come after every band practice and sit here for hours and talk and eat the best pizza you've ever had in your entire life. This is it. This is Bedminster Pizza. I'll say it.
Here's that. Hi, my friend.
Hey.
Hey.
How are ya?
What's up? Okay.
Hey.
Excuse me. One pizza.
Hey, how are you? So, if you look over here, this is obviously my hometown spot. This is my favorite restaurant ever. And they're the best. They have old honey hanging up on the wall, which is amazing of them to do. I'm gonna buy this place one day.
45 minutes, okay?
This is my hometown, downtown area, essentially, I guess. We're coming up on my middle school here. There it is. My Bedminster Township School. I started my first band in this school, and I remember being at lunch and looking to my buddies who were there and being like, guys, we gotta start a band. Because I remember, like, I think like the new Blink-182 record, like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, had just come out, and we were like, this is the best thing we have ever heard. And I remember being like, you know, guys, we gotta just start a band, because the one kid at the lunch table played guitar and piano really well, and then there was a kid at the table that kind of played drums, and then there was a kid that kind of played bass, and I kind of played guitar too. So I remember leaving lunch, like being late to my next class, because I came down to this room, this music room, where Mr. LaFerge worked, and And I remember going to him and be like, Mr. LaFerge, you have to teach me how to play guitar better than I do now, because I'm starting a band. And he's like, you're starting a band? I was like, yeah, I have to, like, it just makes sense. Do you remember the day I came down and asked you to teach me how to play chords because I had band practice?
Yeah, I remember you wanted to try and do stuff with music. You always wanted to do music, which was great, because you started doing trumpet. And you decided, yeah, that wasn't your thing.
No.
But, you know, and then you wanted to do guitar and some piano and some drums and stuff like that. But you really like guitar. And so you were figuring it out. And so that was really good. And it seemed like that was the right fit for you based on where you are now.
This is the cafeteria. This is where I played my first ever like live performance ever. It was the 8th grade talent show, and I remember my band, we learned 2 Blink-182 covers, and we wrote an original song that I don't remember the name of, but this was our first ever live performance. I think there's got to be video footage of it, but it was horribly amazing. And yeah, I mean, it was just electrifying. I remember feeling like the coolest kid because we had t-shirts for sale after, and like all the kids in my class came up and bought one, and we were called Intermission. Worst band name ever.
Still have the shirt. If I knew you wanted it for the video, I could have brought it.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
You know, I would have had to dig it out.
Maybe send me a photo of it.
There you go.
But I think my mom still has a couple as well.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Your mom's proud of where you are.
So I remember taking some of my first press photos ever, standing right here, right in this spot actually. Band Lost in Line, and I remember it was just before, it was like right before we played our first ever sold out show that we sold out at this venue, Hamilton Street Cafe, and I remember that being something so special to me because this was everything to me. This place, actually, there's still an old sign right here. It says cafe. It's 22 Hamilton Street, and this is the back entrance that you can load all your gear in. And I remember standing right here. I mean, thinking like, it's freezing like it is today. It's January probably. It was probably January like it is now. And I remember, you know, thinking to myself like, wow, I'm about to go play our first ever sold out show. Being a sophomore in high school and selling out this place was like, to me, selling out Madison Square Garden. Like Pellegrino.
Mitch Collins.
Is it weird being back here?
Not at all. Yeah, it is.
I mean, 12 years ago, man. So how long ago this place closed?
It closed in 06,
Yeah,
I want to say.
so 10 years ago.
They tried to close it like 4 times because it flooded like 4 times, and finally
It finally died.
Like, this is enough.
Yeah, I mean, this place it looks a lot nicer than it used to look. I remember leaving a show. I'll never forget this. I remember leaving a show here, and I think I saw the Honorary Title and I Am the Avalanche. And I remember, no. It was a show I played with Day at the Fair here.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a family or some little kid in that apartment that was shooting darts out of his window at people. They shoot up straight up darts, and like a dude got one. It was sticking out of the back of his neck.
I think that
You can kind of tell which kids are gonna like stick with it and be around and, you know, do music and get the hell out of here, and like kind of which kids aren't. And Mitch was always one of the kids that you knew one way or another he was getting the hell out of here. He wasn't staying here, you know. You could always tell that about him, and I knew whether it was in my band with him or something else that he'd be gone, you know.
It's funny because it's like now it's just the beginning, right? So it's really interesting because for this guy I've known for 10 years, I've watched him make music for 10 years. He like basically chased the bus for 10 years and then he got on it. So it's like almost like a whole new journey begins.
To be successful, you've got to have, you know, some predisposition to have talent, whether you run fast or whatever it might be. In Mitch's case, he's got a musical gift. But what I'm really proud of is how hard he's worked. You know, I mean, from his first band, he never gave up. You know, I mean, one of the great determinants of success is something they call grit, which is when it's hard, you don't give up. And he never, ever gave up. I mean, not long before he signed with Atlantic, he came to Philadelphia here, and played a club that used to be a jazz club here in Philadelphia called Ortlieb's, and has now transitioned, has different kinds of music, and they played, and they were the first band on. And this is a place where people are in there at 10 o'clock. It's because they're drinking to get ready for the band that's going to play at midnight. And I bet you there weren't 5 people paying attention to them. Might have been 20 people in the bar, and they played as well as any show I've ever seen. You know, and so that kind of work and dedication to the craft, he's never wavered from, and that I'm proud of.
Being a part of his growth musically was the best part of my life, because I got to grow with my son in his music. I got to live a dream that he had and watch it become a reality. And now to see him perform to 10,000 people is just mind-boggling to me, that my son is actually living a dream.